It's been one of those days.
It's Monday.
Hi, everyone. This is Miss Amber with the ABCs of Preschool podcast. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. I hope you have a fabulous week last week. And today I'm excited because I have a special guest. I want to introduce Autumn McKay. She is an accomplished author and a fellow early childhood educator, which I'm really excited about. I love to talk to fellow educators. And she is a mama as well. So I would like to introduce Autumn. If you would like to say hello and then just share a little bit about your backstory.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk with you. So my backstory is that I went to school for education, and I was a teacher in the classroom as well as online. I've taught all the way from kindergarten to high school. And then when we started having babies, I became a stay-at-home mom, and I kind of got bored being a stay-at-home mom, just like playing with the same toys. And so I wanted to make our time at home intentional. And coming from an education background, I thought it would be good to like teach my children while I had them at home. So I created this whole like curriculum map and put it on the fridge, and with just like activities of learning colors and ABCs and things like that. And my husband saw all the work that I had put in, and he saw how much my kids were enjoying it and how much they were loving it. And so he encouraged me to write a book for other moms. And I kind of just like put that on the back burner, like nobody would buy my books or anything like that. But he just kept kind of like nudging me. And so I eventually did it. And yeah, people loved my books. So it was really encouraging, and it helped push me to write more things based on all the activities that my kids and I have done together.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I love too that your husband like pushed you, and like gave you that nudge. I think it's really important to have teammates who we encourage each other, right, with their
Yes.
goals and dreams. I just want to back up just a second because what you said about, staying at home, being a mom, and you just kind of, I was the same way. I stayed home with my kids, and then I just got like antsy, right? I was like
Yes.
doing the laundry over and over again. And I think what I wanted to say just real quick about this, it's okay, right? Like it's okay to think your life's going to go a certain way and then change it up because
Exactly.
to be the best version of moms, we have to do that sometimes. So, can you share a little bit more about your books into like a little bit more detail?
Yeah. So all of my books are based on the activities that my kids and I have done. So they're kind of broken down into like ages. So I have a 1-year-old activity guide, which is basically just sensory play. All of my books are like hands-on activities that parents or preschool teachers or even classroom teachers can do with the kids. And they're all like interactive, just because kids learn better by like doing things. So but they're kind of like easy interactive play. So you don't have to buy a lot of things. Most of the supplies and stuff you have around the house. It's like toilet paper rolls or crayons and scissors and cotton balls kind of thing. Um, at the time, like we didn't have a lot of money and I didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't want to create activities that made me go to the store like all the time. So
I
yeah,
think I think parents don't realize like so many really cool fun activities that are hands-on for our little ones. We have all the supplies
exactly.
at home. It's so funny, as new parents, new mamas, we always think that we need all these things, right? Like the baby shower, like the first time mama baby shower, we need
Mm-hmm.
this, and this. But when it comes down to it, we have everything most of the time that we need to do really fun, engaging
Yes.
things.
And
Yeah.
most of the time, they just want to play with the box that the toy
Yeah,
came in anyway. So
exactly. No, it's so true. Okay, I am very curious about inch stones. Like, I'm really curious about this. Like, what is it? Just describe this for us.
So Inchstones is kind of like little celebrations for your specific child about the things that they have accomplished. Instead of celebrating like all the major milestones for a child growing up, like their birthday or learning to walk or things like that, you're celebrating the little things instead of comparing them to like other children that are um, developing those big milestones as well. So it's like when they meet that little milestone, then you celebrate it. So like potty training, when they when they when they complete potty training, then you, I don't know, go buy a toy or they get a prize or something like that. So what we did is when our kids learned to read their first chapter book, then we took them out to a celebration dinner and they got to pick the restaurant, and we just like sang their praises the whole time at dinner, basically how hard it was to read that first chapter book, how many more chapter books they can read, what are they going to pick out at the library, kind of just like celebrating that moment, and it's all about them. um,
Yeah, I know. I love that because you're a mom of multiple. How many kids do you have again?
so we have 3 biological kids, and then we have a foster baby right now.
That's right. You have a newborn in the house.
Yes.
That's exciting. And I think Inchstones is really awesome and really cool because I have 4 myself. They're now almost all adults. And when you have multiples kids in the house too, you really want to celebrate the individual child. So that is
Mhm.
like a perfect, I think, open door to celebrate each child where they are and their accomplishment rather than a group, right?
Yes.
So, and that also is really like the core of love too. We want to celebrate, life is too short to not celebrate things. In my opinion, life is way too short. And if you're a parent with a little one, a mama with a little one, Autumn, how fast things go.
Mhm.
So I think it's real. That's just, I really like that term, inchstone. Um, I'm going to ask you, what is your biggest why? As an entrepreneur and a mom, and you're writing, you're putting yourself out there, and it's not easy sometimes, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's easier. I just did a podcast episode on fear. And so sometimes it's easier just to like be mom and like not put yourself on podcasts, right? Or not write the book
Yes.
because you're putting yourself out there. But what is your why? Why are you?
So the biggest why is my kids. Like I love them, and I want to like be the best that I can for them. Um, so they are my like why I push myself. But the reason I've written my books is for other moms. Like I know at myself, like I got stuck when I was an early parent and didn't know what to do with my child when I got bored playing with the same toys. And so I want to help those other moms that also are in that situation, or there's just like too many things on Pinterest to look up, and so I just want to make something easy for them.
Yeah, no, I love that. And then let's talk a little bit too about being an entrepreneur and being a mom and like finding that balance. How do you balance work life and mom life while raising, and you have like a new one in the house too, a newborn. So how are you doing with all of that?
A lot of prayer and chocolate.
I love the chocolate. Yeah.
Now, so I have learned that I need to say no to things. I need to set boundaries for myself.
Mhm.
It's very hard for me to say no to things and to people because I feel like I'm disappointing them. However, in order to like balance my energy and my family time and my work life, like I have to say no, because if I say yes to all the things, then I'm saying no to other things. So if I say yes to um, volunteering for PTA, then I might be saying no to like a family game night. So it's been very hard for me, but I have learned to say no when I need to.
No, I love that. When you finally kind of started figuring that out, I think sometimes it takes us a long time. I think especially as women, right? We're
Mhm.
nurturers, we want to please. So
Exactly.
like I feel like the faster you can figure that out as a mom or as a woman, especially, I feel it just brings on a greater joy for life. So, I mean, how do you feel now that you've kind of set those boundaries?
I feel more freedom. Like I'm able to actually make time for the things that I want to do. And I have the energy to do those things with my family or be on podcasts and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, so, yeah, I think it frees up my time and my energy more when I'm able to say no.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate, like, we shouldn't feel guilty either. Like, I wanna,
Exactly.
tell other moms too, like, actually not even it goes just across any board, any human being, right? Like, it's okay to set our boundaries. It's okay to say no to things. Yeah, when I was raising my kids, I wanted to be super mom. I was
Hmm.
never the Pinterest mom with the fancy cupcakes, but I would just be busy all the time, volunteering, doing,
Right.
doing, doing. And there's also a moment where to be the best mom too, to be like truly be able to give to our kids, we have to say no to things sometimes. What is a piece of advice for other moms, other parents raising little ones right now in today's world? Like, what is an advice? Like, now your kids are a little bit older. You've got the baby obviously in the house,
Right.
but what's like a piece of advice that you like to give young parents right now?
I would say be intentional with your time. Quality time over quantity time is better. So, like, when you're with your child, put your phone away, like,
Mhm.
make eye contact, talk to them, figure out their interests and what their dislikes are. So, yeah, be intentional with your time and even like individual time with each child because you can learn so much about that child just one on one versus a group setting. So, yeah.
Do you have, like, date nights? I know I used to have it's hard to keep it up, but I remember I
Right.
would do date nights, like, or, special times. What do you do something like that, like, on a rotation at all, or
Yeah. So we have date nights or date days, whatever. When and we'll go places or whatever. But each week, I like to set aside like 30 minutes for each child, and so they each pick their day. So they each have a specific day, and usually they'll come up with the activity that they want to do. Sometimes it's just like reading together, and other times it's painting nails or building Legos, things like that. Yeah.
Oh, no, I love that. I love it. I think it's just so important to create, like, a really close relationship with our kids. So I think that's really great. I also liked how you said, like, put the phone down. It's so easy. We know we live in this world now with this computer at our fingertips, and we are also examples for our kids, right? Like,
Hmm.
we are examples. So I think it's really important to put the phone away. I remember when my kids were younger, homework time, like, I had 2 that were really easy to go through homework. They didn't have any issues, and then my 2 other ones really struggled. So I remember that phone was off for, like, from, like, 3 till, like, 6:30 at night because I had to sit at the table and focus, but I think it's so important as parents to give our kids attention and love and one-on-one time. So I love that. And I'm also loving that you created a using a gratitude journal.
Yeah,
Did you create one?
I did.
Okay, I
So
love it. Let's talk about gratitude because gratitude is one of my favorite topics. Let's talk about gratitude. So go ahead and share your journal that you made and why is it important? Why is it important? Tell our listeners why is gratitude so important?
so I was going, like, I struggled with mom burnout because I was doing like all the things and saying yes to everything. And so my husband was listening to a bunch of podcasts. This is like when we first started our business. And so he was listening to a bunch of podcasts about successful business owners, and many of them started their day with gratitude. And he was like, maybe we should try that out. And so he had started trying it, and I just kind of like brushed it off for a little while. And then I noticed like a change in his attitude. Like there was nothing wrong with him before, but I just noticed like a shift. And so I started trying gratitude each morning when I woke up. And I noticed that my brain would kind of like veer off in what I needed to do that day as I'm practicing gratitude.
Yeah.
So I decided to journal instead so I could stay focused. And yeah, so it really helped me to heal from the mom burnout. Like I was looking at my day a lot different. I wasn't waking up thinking, oh goodness, these are all the things I have to do today. How am I going to get this done? I was actually waking up and like, oh, this is what I have to look forward to. And so after I had practiced gratitude for a while, I decided to make a journal basically of what I had journaled each morning. So I just turned it into a journal for other moms. So yeah, it has a section for writing down 3 things you're thankful for each day. It has a win. You can write down a win that you had for the day. It has something that you learned and like a prayer section as well.
I love that. I'm a huge gratitude girl, like huge. Yeah, my husband and I even like every morning we wake up, we literally that's like one of the first things we do in bed. We just what are your gratefuls for? I call them gratefuls. And then I journal too. I write them down because it's so easy to move through life on this journey, this path, this beautifully, I call it beautifully messy life, and get so overwhelmed and so inundated with our tasks, right? Like
Yes.
I'm a let's check the list kind of girl. I have to
Yes.
write my list. I always have 3 frogs for the day list. But we can forget like all the beautiful things and all the good, especially when you're in the midst of raising little ones. I mean, it's exhausting. First of all, you're not sleeping as much. You there's just so much going on. So I am a firm believer in pausing every moment for prayer, if that's your path, meditation, but literally just writing, thinking about, talking about all the things we have that we are grateful for because really in the midst of anything, even in the really hard, the really dark, there's always something to be grateful for, right? So
Oh, yes.
I know it's been life-changing for me, that practice of gratitude, the practice of journaling and pausing has really changed my life, helped me learn how to my coping mechanism for a long time raising my kids was being busy. I thought being busy, the more I did, the more love I deserved. So I think gratitude has really helped pause and slow things down. So I love that I love that. I love that you created a journal. I think it's really important as for anybody to just pause and reflect.
Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead.
we try to start our kids young so that they don't have to learn this lesson like after they've struggled later in life like we did. So we each night at dinner we ask them, and my husband and I also say what we're grateful for, but they get to say what they're thankful for each night. And sometimes it's like silly things, and other times it's like really meaningful and like nothing you would have imagined that they were thankful for. So it's really cool to hear their answers.
I love that. And it sounds like you guys do family dinners like every night at the table?
Yes, we
I
do.
I think that's so important. I just want to pause right there. I feel like that is such an important thing about raising children. I think a lot of kids right now do not have that.
Right.
And I was the same way. We raised our kids 5 o'clock dinner. As the kids get older, their schedules change, right? Like
Right.
soccer, baseball, things like that. But having family dinner was such a priority for me. And even when my kids were little as well, we did the same thing. And now today, like, um, because this goes so fast, everybody, your kids grow up so fast. So now it's like I just had brunch yesterday. Is it Sunday? Yeah, yesterday with all 4 of my kids. Like it's like such a rare thing
Oh,
because one lives out of state, but we still do that when we have dinners, like with the
oh,
kids. We go around the table, what it was something great for the day. So it carries on. So
that's
I
awesome to
keep
hear.
doing that. I think it's amazing. I'm such a believer in family dinner. Like I could probably do a whole podcast on that because it's so important for our kids to have a voice, for
Mhm.
one, to share the good, the hard, and everybody pausing and actually just listening to that person. It's so important. So I love that you're doing that. Um, well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience?
Um, let's I have a passion for like teaching your children to read at home. So yeah, that's like my big my big project right now.
Okay, yes. So please, that is right. That was actually the main thing that we were going to talk about. And it's also National Literacy Month. Did you know that?
I
So
did.
yeah. So please share your passion right now with us.
Yeah, so like I obviously am an educator and I've been in the classroom. Um, and so I have a very high respect for teachers and all that they do. But I think it is so important for parents to like step up and teach their kids to read at home. It's just as it's a huge milestone that they will carry for them throughout their life. And so I think that parents need to understand like how important that skill is and how teachers need partners or
Mhm.
to help them like teach their students or their children to read. So yeah, that's my big like passion right now.
No, I love that. I think that sometimes parents think I'm just going to send my little one to school, to kindergarten, first grade, TK. I run preschools, and they're going to come out reading, right?
Right.
But it's so true. So teachers love your kids. Like we're dedicated. We love your children, but we also have a lot of children
Exactly.
in the room. And as much as we can give to your child, it takes us being teammates, right? It takes a
Mhm.
teacher and the parent. So it is so important to read at home. What are some ways that parents can instill reading at home?
So I just reading to your child is the first step. And it doesn't matter how old they are. Like kids
Mhm.
love to be read to. It creates a special bond between you guys too. It's so um so yeah, that and if you have a child that isn't reading yet, then you can like kind of guide them to be ready to learn to read by using your finger to point to the
Mhm.
words, like tracking the words. You can pick out words in a sentence and sound them out like phonetically
Mhm.
by each letter sound, and then say the full word, so that they can understand how those sounds come together to make that word. You guys can talk about the pictures, what they mean, what they're showing. Let's see, you can my best advice is when you guys go to the library is pick out books that interest your child, because if they're not interested in the book, then they are not going to read it at all or show any interest in reading it with you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think instilling reading every single day with your little ones are so important. They love books. Yeah, they love books. And it could be on dinosaurs. Read 10 books on dinosaurs,
Yes.
whatever, or
And
tractors.
it's the same book like
It's
10
the same
times.
book. And that's normal and that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And this month is in March. It is National Literacy month. So this is just a great month, all about books. Dr. Seuss books are great. The rhyming books are great. Just reading in general. I don't care if they're newborn, like little
Right.
one,
Yeah.
just reading is just really great to do. So, well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the ABCs of Preschool podcast. Where can we find you and where can we find your books?
So my website is bestmomideas.com, and I have a freebie for all of your listeners. It's called the Ultimate Mom Saver Activity Guide. And so for those moms that are busy and don't have a lot of time, it gives you 6 free activities that you can do with your kid, and also 6 coloring books from my husband's little engineer coloring book series. And yeah, so you can put that in the show notes for your listeners.
Yeah, I will have those free. All the information will be in this week's show notes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And best wishes with your little
Thank
foster
you.
3-week-old. That's exciting.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, thank you for being on. And so this is Miss Amber with the ABCs Preschool Podcast. Wishing you guys a fabulous week. Wish it, dream it, and do it. And I will see you back here next week.